All right. It started showing. Let me just remove some stuff here that I don't need anymore. Take this off. Minimize this because I don't need you right now. Okay, cool. All right then, guys. Welcome back to another stream. Or if you're watching this in the future, welcome to another video. If you're new here, this is JoJo Dev. I work on making demos, devlogs that I'm working on, and this game that I'm currently working on as well that I plan to release called Edenville. And that's what we're doing here in this live, is fixing bugs and maybe add some new stuff in here as well in the meantime before my next devlog. I need to release one soon, but yeah, that's basically it. So let's go through my Trello board. So we fixed some bugs yesterday's stream, right? We fixed some bugs, and now we have about 4 compared to how much big list that I had before when I first started the stream. So look at all these bugs that we fixed, which is great. I'm excited about it. It's making the game feel so much better now. All right. So yesterday we were working on this before we ended the stream. We were working on picking up multiple items, right? So we showed the UI. We created a UI for a temporary UI. It's not gonna be the final. But we created that UI. I finalized it yesterday, at least for the time being. Like I said, the UI still needs a little bit more work. I just need to create our assets for it. And then I fixed the rocks changing locations every time. And we can go through them, and we can then move it over to resolve after, we double check that they're working. But yeah, that's basically it. Let's look into this just to show you guys what I came up with and show you guys what it looks like now. So let's get in the game. Let's get started, shall we? Cool. Yeah, welcome guys. Hope you guys are doing great. I've been trying to do these lives a little bit more often. I'm waking up a little bit more earlier than I usually do. So I just wake up, get myself freshen up, brush my teeth and all of that, get chocolate, and then jump into this. So before the day starts. So all right, so we're back to here in this location here. If I were to drop some stuff, so if I were to press E, nothing happens just because it's a single item in here. That's how I actually wanted it to work like, or to be like. But if I were to drop something else, or there's multiple items in the area, so let's say I drop this torch, I press E, now this UI shows up. Like I said, this is not final, this is still temporary. And it tells you what's in here. If you click on one of them, it'll tell you the name of this and a small description on it. I don't know if I want to have this yet, because I can remove this and make this UI a little bit smaller. I don't know how exactly I want it to look like yet, but as a first, this is my first time showing this, so maybe that's okay. Like, there's 36 woods in here, and there's a torch, right? So we can add one of them. It updates correctly. As you can see, there's nothing here anymore. And now if I were to keep pressing E again, it doesn't show up. So because there's just one item in here. Actually, you know what? Let's drop this. Let's drop that and just drop that. Whoa, that's actually super cool. I like that. And I press all of them, and now you can see all of them in there. That will show all the items that are nearby, which is great. This is awesome. Exactly what I was hoping for it to be like. But cool. I'll leave the wood back in there. Excuse me. And that's basically it. And since we're here, we can check the rocks. Yeah, I know the rocks changed a little bit on the outside, but that's because I'm using a different type of randomization now. Before I was just using the random generator, but this time I'm using a noise map. I'm using a noise map this time, and that should be the same every time now, because I'm using the same seed for everything like the other noise maps. So theoretically it should be the same. Sweet. See that? Cool. Everything should look the same, and that's basically fixed, guys. Let's go. There is one more bug that I would like to add to the list, and I will tell you guys what it is right now. And that's actually something that I need to think about a little bit more, because I have no solutions for it yet. But let's move these over to resolved, and we have fixed stuff in here. Cool. There we go. Look how small that looks like now. And we can technically fix this too once I start working a little bit more with NPCs and all of that. But there is one more bug, and I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So let me turn this off. I don't need it right now. So how this procedure generation works in this world is that I'm using a 15 tile mode, right? So there's different ways to set up how to determine which tile to choose, and I'm using the 15 tile one, and everything works just fine. You know, there's no problems, there's no issues. The only problem comes when I'm starting adding my own village scene, right? Because I'm just pasting it in there. If you think of it that way, I'm just pasting these scenes in here. The problem with that, when it comes to situations like these tiles don't match. What was the other? Yeah, there was another one yesterday that there was water on this side and this corner tile didn't look right. Let's see. Let's clear the map, cancel it, generate it again. Yeah, it's not there anymore. Yeah, it keeps generating new things every time. So, but yeah, you can notice. I mean, this actually looked pretty great. You know, this looks great here. And then it comes to these things, but the problem is the right side of it. Actually, this actually ended up being great. You know, there's no issues on this side. These sides always work, but it's always the right side that doesn't work correctly. And this actually generation ended up working perfect, except for this one. You know, you can notice the transitions, it doesn't work, but the reason why it doesn't work is that how it determines what tile it should be on is it uses the, so let's pretend I am in this tile here. The way it determines what tile to choose from here is that it looks at the next tile, the bottom tile of that, and the diagonal tile of that, the bottom right. So it looks at the right side, the bottom, and the bottom right of that tile, and determines this current tile what it should be at. But the problem with mine is that because I'm just pasting it in here, this tile will never know what to choose because it never looks behind it. It always looks forward, bottom, and the bottom left, on bottom right, I mean. So that is a problemo. Oh, there we go. Look at that. So this bottom sections, it doesn't work correctly. Though it does work in certain situations like these. But I was trying to figure out, maybe I'm not choosing the correct tiles for these, or something is going on with this one, with this water. But the right side, bottom and top are perfect except for the right side, because the right side chooses the one on the left, right? So for these, this will work because it looks at the right side and it's like, oh hey, it's a grass tile that's transitioning to dirt, right? But so that means that I can still choose grass because it always looks at the one next to it. But this side, it doesn't do that because, you know, I'm just pasting it in here. So one thing I can think of doing is maybe adding a little extra buffer tiles next to it. And maybe do this side too. I don't know. And be able to maybe change those tiles and make it work. Yeah, I will need to add a little, maybe 1 or 2 extra tile buffering here, and then be able to choose what that tile should be depending on where I'm pasting at, and looking at the right side and changing my current tile. All of that. That's probably the only way, but I don't know if that will fix it or not. So I need a little bit more thought and more trying to figure out how this will be handled, basically. So I will leave that a little bit behind, but I can put it in my Trello board for now for bugs, so I don't forget about it. So we can say not working correctly near village/farm locations on the right side. So that's what I'm gonna put there for now. But cool. All right. So the next thing I would like to actually update here is being able to fix the issue with the AI. I think I said that yesterday when I was adding stuff here. Hold on. Well, update the AstarGrid for player, enemies, NPCs, so they all share the same thing. Right now, every single enemy, NPCs, and my player have their own AstarGrid, and that causes issues, especially when you're spawning new AI, because when you spawn them, it starts initializing that grid, and now not only is there a lot of stuff happening. Like, there's so many tiles. There's almost 900 tiles in here, or maybe more. Actually, might be a lot more than that, I think. But yeah, there's a lot of tiles in here right now, and every single enemy is trying to initialize that every time they spawn, and that causes a little bit of hiccups. You can actually see it. Let's see. Do I still here? The problem is I need to figure out where to spawn, where my player spawns. So let's look at my location or where I'm at. I don't know if I disabled that because I did have that bug before and I was testing enemies, so I might have commented something out to still somehow spawn them, but I don't remember. It's been a long time since I touched the AIs. Anyways, so I'm at 360 and negative 210. 360 and negative 210. That's NPCs, enemies. So let's put it at 360 and negative 210. Alright, so I haven't. Alright, let me turn that on. Okay, so I'm right here. So that's where the player spawns. Let's put it a little bit above, I guess. Hopefully it's not on top of there's spawning 8 agents in here. I'll test it out right now. Let me see how it looks like. And my goal is to fix that issue if it is happening. I remember I kind of tweaked something so it doesn't like do any hiccups every time they spawn. Find out. Yeah, you see that little hiccup? Wait, another one spawns, hiccup. Another one spawns, hiccup. Another one. Yeah, so I want to stop that because of course you don't want that in the game. So let's look into that and how to fix it. Right now, how that works is they all share the same script. It's just the A-star character, and this is where it generates, you know, the grid for what I need it to be at. So I'm just thinking, is this? I may leave this in here. I mean, technically, this is exactly what I want it to be. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to move some functions out, or at least move most of this code out into a different class. So let's create a new class right now, and I would like to make that like a singleton global script so that every script can access it. So at least that's my thought process right now. So let's look into that. Let's create the script here. Let's put it. guess I could put it under AI, right? Let's create a new folder called AI or something. And I have NPCs here, which is technically almost similar to what I want it to be. I think NPCs can be moved into AI. Oh, we'll figure it out. Let's create that. Let's mean it something. Let's say Eden AstarGrid. Right, that's what I'm gonna call it. And the scripts AI node. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't need a position. Let's create this. Let's go in there and let's open this bad boy up. Let's name it Eden. Well, you know what? Let's not name it to anything because I'm gonna use the global variable right now. Yeah, let's just leave it like that. So let's go into my A-star character right now. I wish I can like, can we divide this into columns? That'd be pretty sweet actually. Oh, that would be pretty sweet. I know you can remove it from here, but can we divide it into columns? No, I don't think you can, huh? Is it that fancy? Is it that fancy right now? I'll just make things a little bit easier. I don't see it, so. Alright, let's go back into there. Alright, anyway, we'll definitely need, where's the A-star grid here? We're gonna be needing this. We can need a tile map. Yeah, I'm gonna need all of this stuff here. I don't need to have to draw. I don't need to draw right now. Yeah, we'll fix all of that stuff soon. Let's put that in here. Let's get the ready. Move that over. Oh, this doesn't have a position, but which is fine. It's not a big deal because I am initializing the position. I'm using the rec from there. So this issue, where is it at? This, well, it's region. Hold on, it's region. Yeah, I'm using the rec. So I technically don't really mind. You can just leave it like that for now. Alright, so let's remove ready for now. Because I'm not using it right now. We'll pass in the initialized path. Let me see. So I'll pass in the tile map parents. I don't need this part. Let's do it a little bit. Little by little. We'll move over things. This is why I prefer to have grid, because it'll make things so much easier right now. Okay, we have this, so we remove this. Why is this an, oh. I think that's what it's crying about. Oh, you know, you can just put this here. This is just checking to determine what tile to draw it on the path. Need to figure out. Yeah, I was gonna do underwater scenes, but I don't know if I'm ever planning to do that anytime soon. Just because life has not been easy for me, but you know, we're hanging in there. But I'll leave it here just in case I ever do decide to do it. I'll use this instead. Okay, so we got that. And then we get the stuff here on top. We iterate through, let's see, rec size, tile map, layer. And it iterates through all the tile layers and checks to see what it should be on, and that's exactly what I need to start initializing the A-star. So let's copy all of that. And I'll paste that in here. And let's move it over. You know, I may end up actually, because I don't check to see if this is no or not. But you know, I'll figure it out after. So, okay, let's go to a start character here. We go in here and clear out all the cells every time, like I say, I destroy a tree and completely remove it. So I don't need this function in here, and that can be something that can be in the other one instead. All right. Oh wait, yeah, I'm on the wrong file. Okay, I was about to say, hey, I removed that already. Okay. What do I need this for? There's retreat path, which I technically need it in the other one, actually. I'm gonna need it here, and I'm gonna need it in the other one. It's just I don't need all this functionality in here. Excuse me. Let's go back here. So what I don't need here is the debug draw. I'm gonna be leaving that in the A start character because that's where the draw stuff happens. The global position of this, I'm probably gonna need the current position here as well. So I'm gonna need a current position. And in here, I'm gonna replace that global thing there. Same thing here. Same thing here. Oh, you know what? This is a. I need to separate that. Hold on. Not separate. I need to create that variable. So I created that on top. I can. Oh yeah, that should be fine if I leave it there too, because they're both needed technically. I mean, do I even need this in here? Hold on. I don't think I need it. I can't just undo that. So you can just say that, or oops. Did I? Yeah, I did. Damn it. Dang it. Let's just copy that. I messed up on the copying stuff on that. And let's put it on the top here. We return that path. Okay. Now let's fix this part. This doesn't know anything about it. Or you know what, I can just leave it like this for now. So I know which areas I need to fix. Yeah, I definitely don't need this though. You can just leave it whatever. So I can just leave it like this for now. Wait, hold on, I start print. Yeah, I don't need any of this stuff, so I'll leave it there for now. Retrieve path closest to position. I think I also am calling this one too, so let's just use this one. And the same as the other one. Let's just call that for now. And I need a current position here too. Because I need it in here. I need it in here. So what this is doing is that if it once it's basically calling the function on top, right? But if that ever returns empty, then I'm just gonna create a path towards the location from the current position to the target, so it has something. I believe that's what it's doing. So while path is empty, it's doing this a floor 2 vec. If it's empty, it breaks. I guess it returns empty. Otherwise, it adds that to see it's a target position, and it keeps updating the position right from this point. You try to find the closest position to the target until it finds something. Yeah, that's what it's doing. But sometimes when you're trying to do a path, sometimes it doesn't do anything, right? It returns empty, an empty array. So I'm trying to find the closest position to at least it figures something out. And if it doesn't figure out anything, then it just returns empty. So that's what that function is doing. I'll leave this empty. I mean like that because I gotta come back. Cancel A star. I guess this is just basically just clearing out all my stuff. Right? It's clearing the debug draw stuff and the path that I have this saved on. So yeah. It's point valid, which is something that can be in the other one. That's a useful function to have. I can see if it's valid. Oops. Okay, what is the issue here? Tell them up how. Oh, it's a draw. I can use the other one actually. Where is the other one that I'm using? I think it's this one here. Point valid. So I can use the main tile layer. The main tile map layer for in my case here is just the ground. Because the ground is always going to have something. And that ground tile layer. So that's what this is using. So I just consider it as the main one, but technically it's not really. And then it just determines if the path is valid. Which I don't need this function here. I just need to call the other one. This is a function that can be here because it's trying to see if it's pathing, if it's moving or not, right? It's navigating. Process, this just renders the path to redraw. And then the draw function here. Great. Sweet. So now I have that. I can save this. I know there's errors. I'll fix it up right after this. I would like to add this into my globals and add the assets, scripts, AI. We'll add this. We call it AstarGrid, which is why I didn't want to name the class because I can just use this. What I can do maybe is just put this as a big capital here, and that's basically what I want to do. Great. So now that I have that, I can come in here, the A-star character, and start clearing these out a little bit. So all I need to do in here is just path. Oops. Path equals. Which function should I use? This could probably be the same one here, right? Which is the get global. I think it's just called global, right? It's global position. Yeah, I don't know why I'm using getter function for that. And the target position, and that's it. I don't need any other stuff. Wait, I am already calling duplicate on it. So I don't need to actually do duplicate again. Do I? I actually do. Never mind. There was an issue that I was having of this before, and it didn't work correctly because I was modifying it on the C++ side. Even though they're two different ways, they're kind of like tied together to the same memory. So even though I have this initialized here, and then I return this path without this duplicate, that same array, if I modify it in the C++, it will modify the one in here. So I will need to create a duplicate of it, which is why this duplicate. One thing I can do, if I go back to this function here, maybe I don't return the duplicate of this, because I don't want to have two duplicates in here. The duplicate there, and same thing here. If I have to duplicate it outside, then I'll do it in the other class. In here. Cool. So in here, this is the same thing that I was talking about. Actually, you know what? This may... No, it should be the same. So all I need to do is just call that function in here. I'm eating grid, start grid here. Which then just... Oh, hey, yeah, that's fine. We'll get the global position and the target position. And that's basically the path that I need. And everything stays the same, right? Cool. I was debating if I want to remove this, but I need the, if I want to debug this, I definitely need this in here. I was wondering if I could change this somewhere else, but I guess I do. Because I gotta get this. All map stuff. Alrighty. One thing I did not check for before. Okay, let's close these points. Is it an initialized path? Is this? I have no clue if this is going to be null or not, so it's always a good idea to double check and just make sure. So we'll move that over. Okay, so that's one thing at least I wanted to do in here. Yeah, but that's a problem here. That's okay. I can add a null check for that, but I never had issues with it, so. Okay. I think that should be it. I still need to initialize the Edenville, Eden AstarGrid, and that'll most likely be happening in the game manager. I want the game manager to initialize that. Where's my game manager in here? Game manager. Okay. Okay, so this is just a bunch of getter functions. Initializing the load level, maybe. Do I do anything with tile maps in here? No initialization of tile map layers and stuff in here? It doesn't look like it. Cool. So what I want to do in here is to create a function that will initialize my Eden AstarGrid. So I will pass in, so we can do it down here. We can create a func, say initialize AstarGrid. We'll pass in tile map layer parent. Oh no, it's just a parent, it's just a node actually. It's just a node. It doesn't return anything, so we'll leave it like that. And in here, I want to call Eden AstarGrid, and I just call it initialize path. And we'll pass in this in here. Cool. So I have that. And then anywhere else that I'm doing that in the C++ area, when I'm initializing the path, it should be in Game Manager. We can do where is my where's my level setup in here? We got setup level, which then initializes all of that. We got load level complete. I think I'm calling it on the other one. In here, I think. Yeah, there we go. So what I want to do here. So this initializes the tile map to initialize the player. But this is where I want this to happen. I do need my player to initialize it for debugging purposes. So I do want that to happen. But in here is where I want to call function. What did I call it? Initialize AstarGrid, which passes in the tile map layer. Parents. And theoretically, this is what it should do. If I did this correctly. So let's build this. Let's build that bad boy. Let's let me hydrate real quick with my chocolate. All right. It's done building. Let's just double check my work, and we can test that to see if that fixed that freezing point when the NPCs or enemies spawn. So we go to A-star character. Every character, like the player, enemies, and NPCs, have this class. I remove everything that has to do with A-star grid in here, so if not every character needs to have the A-star grid. So the only thing I kept in here when it comes to tile map layers is just the debug options to draw the path, which is why I call this initialize function for it, which passes as a node. It doesn't have to be a 2D, huh? Okay, we'll probably have to change that to just be a regular node. Yeah, so this initialize that. It will call the class that has the A star, and we'll use that instead, which is great. So we go to the A star grid, which initializes a path, right? It iterates through all of these and initializes the A star grid depending on the tile map layer, on the size of it. And then iterate through all of that and set all the points that are solid. And should be in a good spot. And then we go back to here again. That just should be a regular node. Cool. So let's save that. We'll test it out to see if it works. Hopefully it doesn't crash. I don't know if it will still jitter or not. Oh, A-star characters, good position. I don't have that in there. This is the agent, right? So instead of using this in here, we want to use the Eden A-star grid, and then check to see if it's valid. Righty. Let me go into, make sure that's here. Yep, it's right there now. Oh, should be fixed. Returns a bowl, A-star grid. Why is there an A in here? Okay. Cool. Let's play that. Let's try that again. Redo. There we go, no more lags after they spawn. Let's go. Fixed. So what I did now is just they all sharing the same A-star grid now. They're all sharing the same A-star. Hold on, let me put my sword up in here. Let's go, buddies. Oops. Let's go. Well, I have infinite health, so it doesn't really matter right now. The parrot doesn't have any health yet. But cool. That is fixed, and I'm excited about that. I was trying to get all of these slimes out of the way. Let's go. I mean, it's an unfair advantage, but there we go. Oh, we got more. They keep spawning? All right. I didn't even know they kept spawning here. I thought I was done, but cool. I have that in a good place now, which is great. Let me pause that for right now. Let's go to Trello board. Where's my Trello board? Right here. And we have fixed this problem here. Let's go. I mean, technically I will move it to resolve, but I want this to be tied to this. This is just bugs that are resolved. Maybe I should rename it, call it resolved bugs and stuff, but I fixed most of my bugs in here. At least the majority of the ones that I wanted to fix. So that was what that thing was for. So I can actually start doing this devlog. I mentioned that these two doesn't necessarily need to be in there. This needs more time to be able to bring more life into the game. Like maybe some animals that can be walking around. Maybe more enemies. Now that I fixed this jittery, stuttering stuff with the NPCs or enemies when they spawn, now I can be spawning a lot more stuff around. So yeah, so this doesn't necessarily need to be in the next devlog. Disable or disable or removing enemies if the chunk that they are in is gone. And what I can do with that is to be able to check their positions, and if their positions are ever outside of the bounds of the chunks that they're in, then either pause them, like disable their updates at all, or just remove them completely and add it to the pool. And most likely we'll just end up adding them to the pool. I think that's the plan. I will need to test this a little bit more and see which one will be better. But yeah, that's basically, you know, majority of the stuff that I've done so far. We fixed, since this is my third stream already, right? I believe. See, I did it on a Friday once. I did it on a Saturday, or it might have been Thursday, and then I did it on a Saturday or something like that. And then I did it yesterday. So this is my fourth stream, if I set that correctly. Thursday, Saturday, yesterday, and today. So today is my fourth stream here, and we fixed the majority of the bugs that this game had, which is I really wanted to fix. Ah, I see. So they keep spawning. So once they don't have enough anymore, they'll keep spawning here. So I don't have like a max amount of enemies that just spawn or should spawn, and that's it. Once it goes down below, it will respawn them again. Okay, cool. Yeah. Definitely this needs a little bit more tweaking when it comes to spawning them, so it's not like infinite. And maybe some of these guys will have some drops. And all that stuff. So yeah. So now that I'm in a good spot with NPCs, I can continue working on them. And be able to add more enemies. And refine their logic a little bit better. And we should be in a good spot. We should be in a good spot with NPCs in here. Or enemies, I should say. Alright. Wow, well. We'll go back to... I'll disable these guys for now. Should I disable it? You know what I can do is just probably spawn a lot less of them. Let's do 2 at a time. Alright. So right now I'm just gonna play through the game and see if there's any other bugs that I can notice that I need to fix. And then I'll look into enemies, NPCs, and figure out what I need to do with them. To refine their logic. Alright. So that's kind of like another bug here too, which I haven't taken account for. So what happens with the camera is that it kind of, as you notice, the camera centers so when you're not moving to the character. And once you move, the camera moves a little bit to the left just so you can see a little bit more visual on this side. Same thing with the top. Right? But if your player gets stuck and it's running, it sometimes kind of jitters, like that. And you don't want that at all. So I need to find a fix for that too. So right now, that's what I'm doing right now, is just fixing bugs. Fixing bugs. The only other jug, like right now, that you just saw right now, this happens with the issue that I mentioned before in my previous devlogs. And that has to do... Excuse me. That has to do when you call... Where's the popular function in here? I mentioned it before. This, when you call set cells terrain connect, this is the I don't know why that's happening in the back end, but this is one of them. You know, he chugs a lot. Even if there was just one cell position that you're trying to initialize, this will, you know, will definitely chug on you and create that little lag spike that happens every time you transition to a new chunk. Because I need to call this again every time I transition to a new chunk. Because there might be new cliffs in that section. So the only way to avoid that, like I could turn this off. There will be no cliffs right now. We'll build it and there will be no, at least I hope there isn't anything else. Yeah, I only call this once, which is why I keep this an array of cliff positions, and then I just pass it in here. So I'm only calling it once. Did it build it already? Oh, access at 9. That means it's running still. All right. So let's build that. Let's build it again. We can double check that this ends up being the problem every time it's transitioning to a new chunk. I did it before and that was it, but I don't know if, since it's been a long time since I done that, and something else might have creeped in. So we'll double check to see if nothing else creeped in. So it happened at the top corner of my farm. So that's where we're going to be heading into right now. There might be some areas where there's nothing in there just because that's supposed to be the cliffs location. So I'll go on top. Oh yeah, it's still happening. Alright, so I guess it's not just the cliff's position. What else would it be? What else would that... Okay. I'll need to debug that a little bit more and figure out why. Could it be... Well, you know what? Could it be the initialization of the A-star? Could that be chugging it? Yeah, I think so. Because every end... Yeah, I think... You know what? That's probably what it is. Let's see. You know, so I don't have to rebuild it again. Let's go into it. Let's disable NPCs right now, right? My player is the only one that's going to be accessing that. And let's go into Eden AstarGrid. I may need to put this in like in threads and something if I'm able to do it. To initialize the A-star. I think that's probably one thing I need to do. But for right now, let's just put a return right there. Because my player has it and still initializes it, so I'll check right now. Hopefully it doesn't crash because they needed it somewhere else. Let's go on top again. Okay, so now it's a little bit less now. It's just a tiny, it's not like, it's not huge. But something else in here is still causing it. So I think what I need to do for sure is to initialize my tile map in a thread instead, because I am looping through all of them, which is, you know, it's a lot. I'm just gotta double check to see if there's anything here that will not work in threads. For set point solid, can you pass an array in here and it will do it for me, or do I need to? Doesn't look like I can set an array of them. Let's see. I wish you could set point, but in the an array of IDs, that would have been sweet. Yeah, so I'll need to create a thread stuff for this. So that would definitely be helpful. And then there's just a tiny chug happening in the other one. Now, it's not that crazy. It could be the generation of my procedural generation, right? Yeah, I may need to do that in threads, but at least it's not like crazy chugging anymore like it was before. It's just a tiny little frame that's happening. You can barely notice it, right? You can barely notice that little tiny, if you really pay attention to it. Okay, so let's bring my, let's see how much of a chug this will bring in, because there's nothing much I can do about this part unless I create my own, or I have no cliffs anywhere in here and make it work like the others without using the SSL string connect. All right, well, let's double check that. All right, let's go on top. That's when the transition happens. There we go. So I think that one's a little bit more noticeable. Definitely a little bit more noticeable on that one. Yeah. Okay. So there's a little bit more minor stuff that we need to do. Nothing crazy. Let's go back to my Well, there's two things I can do when it comes to where's my. I don't know what I'm doing right now. So I said I can put this into threads, or I'll only update the chunks that are generated, right? Because right now I just iterate through all of them again and reinitialize everything. But I could probably just iterate through the ones that I just generated. It's still a lot, you know. It's a 30 by 30 grid per chunk, so it's still about 900. But I think I will have to double check. I can definitely make it a little bit more optimizing here by only checking the new grids that are coming in. I'm gonna have to do it twice, right? So I'm gonna have to do it for the new chunks that are coming in. So it initialize the A star for that, and then remove all the solid points. Yeah, because I don't want to keep them in memory. Yeah, if I were to reverse, keep going further, I will have a huge A star path. So I definitely got to clear it out. So new chunks, initialize it, and remove the old chunks that got removed. So I think it's be better just to create a threads for this and see if that will make it just a bit better. But that takes a little bit more time, so man, I'm not doing it on this stream. Probably do it off screen. Alright, let's go into the game. Actually, you know what? Let's also put it in the. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Where's my Trello board? Here. Let's add that thing here. So to a new chunk, we'll freeze for a second. And then here I'll probably put some details. If anything, maybe. How do I add a checklist? There we go. That's what I wanted to add. I'll just create a new checklist. So for the A star grid, initialize A star grid in threads if possible. So I'll have to double check to see if I'm able to do stuff with threads, because sometimes functions don't work inside threads or stuff like that, so I may need to rearrange some stuff. So I just need to double check that it's gonna work. What was the other one? Oh, possibly using threads for procedure generation and finding a new way to let's call it, it's moving away from set cell terrain, whatever it's called, connect, right? So those are the main three that I need to do when it comes to that. So this is a little bit more natural flow when you change into a new chunk. You don't see all of this crazy jittery freezing stuff happening. So cool. So I'll leave that there. So I got two stuff that I will need to look into when it comes to procedural stuff and AstarGrid stuff. Cool. All right. Other thing I would like to actually also look into is that I would like to continue working on the way that this game looks. So now we have this, right? We have this war environment that does post effects. And I'm trying to look into glow and bloom and stuff, right? And trying to find a good balance between that. Let me revert that back. So just playing around with all of this stuff in here. Let's put that down. Let's create a temporary point light that we can use. It doesn't need to be there. It needs a texture. Let's load in the texture for how the light should look like, which is a very interesting way of doing it. It's art, and we can use this, I think. Yeah, or you know what, let's just use that for now. Where's this bad boy at? You know, I can probably put it in, where is my transform? Remember what was this, like 310? Ah, there it is. You just leave it here. We create this bloom here. So the higher that this raw values are, the more bloomier it will be, I guess you could say. Right? And since this is kind of looks like it's kind of coloring behind it, isn't it? Or is it just, no, it's actually working. No, it's fine. And not even doing energy, anything at all yet. Yeah, but yeah, I was just trying to figure out a good balance when it comes to doing blooms here, especially at night, because it gets too dark. There's no light anywhere at the moment. So when it gets dark, it gets dark, you know. So I'm just messing around with it and making the light look a little, you know, look really good, and adding some bloom into it. And making it look fine. So just like the way that I was working with the dungeons. So if you go back inside the dungeons real quick. And I can show you what it looks like if you have not seen it yet. So we'll just enter one of these in here. We're going to the dungeon. And it creates this kind of like, you know, it looks okay. Like it's not too crazy. Maybe I should have more fog out in the outside. Initial fog or something. But I do like the way that this looks. It looks pretty cool, right? Kind of eerie. I definitely gotta remove all of this like occlusion stuff because I don't really like the way it looks. Maybe I can tweak it a little bit. Then we have this stuff in here too, which is cool with this God rays coming into the level in here, and possibly do something with the top part of it that doesn't look like this, right? Probably just maybe just, I don't know what I should do with this side here. or just make it, I don't know. That's something I gotta look into. It kind of looks like it's coming out of nowhere. Maybe coming out from this side. Because right now this is on top of where I'm walking on, so it doesn't look right. So maybe it'll come up from here, and maybe it'll look a little bit better. Because I can't walk in there, I can't do nothing in there. That's something to consider. But regardless, that actually looks great. I really love the way that this ended up being. Actually, isn't there actually, I don't think I have any fish spawns in here, do I? There is there a fish thing on top? How do we get on top? Forgot how to get on top. Or maybe it's simple. All I need is just to go up. All I needed was to go up. There we go. I should have zoomed in a little bit more now. If I remember correctly, I didn't put any fish spawns in here. So even if I were to put my fishing rod in here, I don't know if fishing rod works right now. Ooh, that's a bug. That's a bug for sure. Let's go back in here. Okay, yeah, so definitely a bug. So if I have something selected and then I come into here to rearrange it, it doesn't reset this. That's just a very interesting bug. I've never done that before. All right. So, hold on, let me turn it off first because I don't want to have another one in here. Now I have a free light coming in. Yeah, so I need to make this work inside dungeons because I believe I didn't set this to water, I believe, or something is making it so that I can't throw my fishing rod in here. I think I'm gonna have to test it outside. But hey, I have a free light just coming out of nowhere. It's kind of like in Skyrim, like clairvoyance. I think this is called a spell. I forgot the name of that spell when it creates light. Might be clairvoyance. Somewhere around our range. Yeah, definitely not here. I was trying to find the exit, but I don't think I'm finding the exit. I wanted to test out a bug real quick. Test this bug. What happens if I go outside with this? Oh, there it is. What happens if I go outside? Is this still here? And it is. It is still there. Alright, hold on. Let me see if I can fish in here. I don't know if I haven't tested fishing for a bit. Since I had that bug with the spawner. So you can see fishes in here. What happened to my underwater environments? Interesting. Oh, you know what? I don't think I put anything into my village scenes. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I put anything in there. Okay, so it works in here. I think the towels inside make it so that it's not working correctly. Not entirely sure what's going on in that one. Alright, so I got a perch. Let's go. I'll release it back into the wild. Have fun. And that's basically it. Yeah, the reason why is because I don't think I put anything in my village scenes. Oops, I didn't mean to restart it. If I go to my farm, yeah, see, there's nothing in the underwater stuff in here. Same thing with the village, right? Yeah, so I need to come in here and add some more stuff in here, like rocks and stuff, so it looks pretty cool. And let's look into the dungeon stuff and figure out why. Let's turn this off. Any water in here? It doesn't look like it. So let's go into, actually let's go into the rooms then. Turn that back on, save. Let's look into rooms. This is the scene for all the rooms. Oh yeah, that looks so good, bro. I love that. Okay, so it's not that one. Okay, so we have some water here. Why? I mean, it uses the same. I'll figure it out right now. Hold on. Let's just use water for now. It uses the same tile set as the others, so it should be water regardless. I believe I'm using these in here. So let's select oh no, it's down here. Never mind. They all should be at least water in here, right? Oh, it's not. Okay, so this towel does not have it, but the ones in level, let's say I go to the water scene, it's in here. And oh, this one has it on this side? Wait, what? Did I create two different ones? It's the same tile map. Interesting. Or maybe this one didn't work correctly with the other one, so I ended up using these instead. Oh, that's crazy right there. It's happening. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, so this one has its water in here, and that's it. Actually very interesting why the dungeon one is using a different tile set. I mean, I guess since the dungeon is using a different tile set, does that affect the tiles in here? I think it does, right? So I need to reinitialize the water even though I'm using the same one. Yeah, so instead of using the ones on the top, I'm using the ones in here. I guess they just look better. Okay, well, I just wanted to know. So we can make that work by adding water in here. And just say, hey, it's water. Same thing down here is water. Let's go. Okay. So that should make it work now. I should be able to fish inside dungeons. Oh man. I got bit by a mosquito multiple times last night. And it's itchy. Alright. Cool. Cool. Oh yeah, let's put that bug in there as well. Hold on. That's something I can add into the Trello board. I keep clicking Aseprite. I don't know why I keep doing that. Aseprite. Bug with when a slot is active in the hotbar, and then you rearrange. In the inventory. It doesn't deselect the active slot. Somewhere around those lines. I mean, possibly you can look into that. You can look into the inventory. Look into the inventory and let's see if we can fix that right now. Inventory. Okay. So I need to look into this and look into the dragging part of it. So item selected. So that keeps track of all the stuff. Item begin dragging. Item and drag. Current selected. And current slot entered. So it grabs my dragging slot that I have select. I mean, the current dragging slot. And then rearranges it with the one that is the current slot that I entered. So what I would do in here is I need a way to I create a new item which does this. When I create this though, do I keep track of the item that or the slot that I got active? Hold on. So I have the item selected, right? Current selected, so we have that there. But does this get rearranged if I were to drag it? Can I deselect it? But what? It's kind of like I have to keep track of it. What I can do? Let's try it out. So if I current selected, if there was actually something in here, like I'm about to switch it over, and my current slot selected is selected, and I don't know if I have that is active. Jeez, now I'm like paranoid. Freaking mosquito last night. I'm paranoid. Everything that's itchy. Just double checking there's no mosquitoes on me. I couldn't find it afterwards. It bit me. It just flew away. I never found it again. But I know it's around here, so I'm paranoid now. But anyway, we got this and make sure that it's selected, right? So how do we deselect something? Do we set it to active? But I want to be able to also handle the connection of callback for it as well. So how's that happening? How's that happening here? Where is that callback happening? Alright, I guess I just emit the signal to be not selected. I mean, I guess this is a UI inventory. Maybe I should check for... Hold on. Might be looking at the wrong thing. I should be looking at the hotbar instead. I should probably look at the hotbar. So if I begin dragging, so we might have a problemo here. I don't care about dropping items. The good thing that I have is they all use inventory slots. The hotbar uses the same class. My inventory uses the same class. My fishing rods uses the same class. So they all have access to the same thing. The only thing I'm trying to figure out is where am I calling this callback, so when I select it, it knows what to do. It's been quite a while since I've done it, so this sets my current active slot. Okay, so this keeps track of my active slot, right? So if I were to click on it, which we're in game manager, our previous selected on UI actives changed. This calls whatever, otherwise it does a primary action for if it's a light source like a torch. Okay. Okay, so I need to figure out when it calls this. I need to call on previous actives changed for that. So if I were to go, what does this listen to on previous changed? Does it connect to anything in here? So it connects in here on inventory manager. So, I mean, even though it connects to it, the inventory manager, how does it? Items previously selected, so we add a signal here. Okay, so it sets a signal to the previous slot selected, right? Then we change it to a new one, and then we emit the section again. So before we change it, we check to see, okay. So I will need to use the inventory slot. When I change something, the problem is that I don't think, even though the hotbar uses the same, I don't think it will know that the slot that I have active in this hotbar will transition correctly in the UI if I were to drag it to something new. Like, let's test it out real quick. So I'm talking about, let's say I have this selected, right? And then I go to my UI, it doesn't set this as the one that I was selected. So it doesn't know that. But maybe I should, and that is one of the bugs that probably I need to fix too. So if I were to go in here, that's the only reason why it still worked, but or if I were to select a different one, and this needs to be focused correctly, right? To then show like, hey, you know, this is, you're gonna be changing it to something outside. Actually, you know, let's test something else too. So let's say I have that selected, right? And I want to rearrange it to this one. See? It needs to take account for new dragging selection. So I could possibly figure out a way to do it. So when it comes to the inventory slot, if this slot is the one that the inventory manager has selected, so let's say hold on, what I have the oh yeah, never mind, I got it. If this ever is get active, current active slot, so if these are the same, then we just set the inventory manager get set current active slot to fall, or to no, right? Because there's no active slots anymore. So this is one thing I can do in here. We can test it out real quick and see. Wow. No, that will not work. That will not work, guys, because this is a different inventory slot. The one that I used to set it, it's in here, I believe, because this is the only place I have it selected. Yeah, see? This is the only place I am doing that, but this UI slot. I mean, one way I can do it is to check to see if the slot item is the same. That is a possibility, and probably the only way I can do it. Because it will never be the same. Same thing with the dragging here, actually. It's such with the dragging, it will work. That wouldn't be a problem if I were to keep it that way. Maybe I'll end up changing it. Theoretically, it should work. If I were to, you know, end the drag. Actually, I haven't tested it. Is it still on? No, I turned it off. Because you can also change it in the hotbar as well. Swap out items there too. I want to see if that's still a bug there too. Is that a bug there too? So if I select this and then I were to drag it over here, now nothing's selected. Question is, should this still be selected when I move it over? Or I should yeah, trying to figure out a good solution for this, how I want it to be like. So there's two different things I can do here, right? One, if I have this selected and I transition it over, this should be selected now. Or if I had this selected, I have this selected, and then I transition it over, this should still stay selected. So the new item that's in here should be selected. The question is, which one will be better? I feel like that the new one should be selected. The new slot. So if I were to drag it, I need to deselect it. So I entered this, right? So the inventory, let's see how this is gonna work. I disabled the previous one, so there's no new one coming in. Right? So I deselect it first, and then the current slot that I enter should be trying to figure it out, like the solution right now. Yeah, it should be fine actually, because I am updating the slot, but I want this to be, if my current slot is the one, but the one that I'm changing it to should be selected. So if it is my active slot, actually I should per se, because otherwise, no matter if I drag something here, it's always going to select this one to be the, you know, the slot that is active, and I don't want that to happen. So what I would do in here is checking to see if current slot is active, and just say, hey, just set this to this, right? And then we can just update this to be that. And then if it was active, because I can't do that same check after anymore. So that's why I'm doing this. And let's remove the one here because I need to figure out a different solution for this since this lot is different. Oops. So I'll come back to the inventory for that. Let's work on the hotbar first. Oh, but wait, hold on. Hold on, I'm not fully done yet. Item select. I need to set this here. Or maybe I just call this. I'll just call this function then. Item selected because I needed to do all this stuff in here too. And do I need to do anything when deselecting? I guess I could set this to false. Yeah, well, I'll set the current selected to false if there is something. Alright, we'll set it to false. Let's build it again. Alright, it's done. And let's run it, and we'll try it out right now. Alright, so I have this selected. I'll move it over. Oh no, I mean, this actually did work, but it didn't deselect this one. Like, wait. Yeah, it created two of them, which is not what I wanted to do. So if I were to, it does the selection just fine, which is great. I know I'm gonna be like crazy with that right now, but it just keeps creating the other stuff. I thought this was gonna call it if I were to do it. The active slot to be null p. It emits the selection. I emitted before. So why didn't it despawn it? I'm gonna have to double check, see what happened there. So on previous select, if it's selected and the current action type is this, do a pre-release. Let's test it out and see what happened there. Oops. Alright, let's attach my debugger on it. Let's attach my debugger. Select the window, select that, attach. Let's see what happened here, why it didn't go through it correctly. Oops. Okay, that's fine. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And then I drag it over here and it should be null. But oh, it uses my current inventory slot. But I just set it to null. Or am I setting it to null after? Oh no, it's still going in here, I think. Or it could be null. Ay, ay, ay. I don't even know if it actually went in here or not. And sometimes it's not great when it comes to debugging stuff in here because you don't know anything if it actually went inside of here or not. Like right now I'm trying to hover over, it doesn't actually give me anything. But for variables are part of the class, it works, but not for the ones that got created within the functions. Sometimes it does work and sometimes it doesn't. And it didn't work out this time. Another thing I can do is probably put it in here and redo it again and see if it goes in here. Right? So I have this selected, move it over. Yeah, see, it actually didn't go in there. But this time it did. Put it in there. Fine. Then drag it over. Okay, so it did go the second time. I just don't know what this item is because it doesn't actually go in here. I don't know if this is false or not. I don't think so, but I don't know why it didn't despawn it beforehand. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Let's just redo this entire thing again. I'm probably gonna put 2 in here and see if it actually ended up working. Let's attach debugger. Attach it to that and let's retry it. Do we have that? Which is, you know, it sure works that. If I were to drag it in here, it should go there, go in here, then go in here. Okay, so it is working, but why didn't it despawn it? Why didn't it not despawn it, even though it's calling it to despawn? I can't actually go in there right now. Can I switch it over? It's no, never mind, I can't. I was gonna go into that script right now and check it. Then come in here. And then it comes in here. And calls it to I have the world visual tile immediate, which is fine. And then initialize this again, which is fine. I just don't know why it didn't despawn the other one though, even though it did say to despawn it. That's what I'm confused on as to why it didn't actually call, even though it did. We can put something there and see what happened. Let's undo that. Let's watch this game. Let's try moving it over. Yeah, it didn't actually go in there, even though it is calling it to go in there. So that's fun. Even though it is calling it to go in. In that function, it actually doesn't go in there at all. Let's attach the process. Going here. Okay. So it is calling it here. Oh, now it calls it. Oh, is it a note to D? Maybe I didn't turn it off. You know, that's well, no, it's turning it off before, so why is it different this time? Yeah, see, there's a value in there. Okay, never mind. I'm tripping already. I just don't get why it doesn't turn off. Doesn't make sense to me. It just keeps creating new ones and doesn't despawn the previous one. What is happening? What is happening here? So it works when it does this, it despawns it just fine. But it doesn't work when you do this. It just automatically puts it on top. And it keeps following me too, right? Interesting. I'm wondering. If I need. I was wondering if maybe I could go a different approach with this. Maybe I don't need to like undo it and redo it afterwards. Maybe I just need to switch the. I'm just wondering. Because every time I set a current active slot, it calls a pre-selected the previous one and it calls this. Which then calls the item selected. One thing I can do here, maybe ignore signals and only update the next active slot to be this instead. I can do that too. Hold on. We either create a new function called set current active slot no signals, or we pass in a function here, a parameter, say bool ignore signal emit, and we set it to false, right? That is a possibility here, and it will be false, and we always emit this. So if it's true, it will be false. All I'm doing is just changing the slot. And if I go back to my hotbar, instead of, yeah, we can set the current active to be false. Hold on, let me see. So we got this item selected here. I'm calling this function, and I believe the only thing I'm doing here is just putting this to false. which is exactly what I'm doing down below. Setting it to false. I don't need to set it to null. And setting it to false. And then every time I come into the new one, which is the bird selected here. So I'm gonna need to say current selected equals the slot entered, the current slot that entered. Oops. Right? Is the current slot that I entered. And then we'll set the current slot here. Instead of calling this function, but we will ignore any signals passing in. We can try that. Is it running? It is running, so let's turn that off. So we ignore signals now. All we're doing is just updating the pointer, and that's it. So it doesn't have to undo the torch and despawn it and then spawn it again. Which probably is the better approach. Most likely the better approach. All right. Let's not build it. I mean, run it. Let's run it. Cool. Alright, so I have this selected, move it over. Nothing happens, but oh wait, this did get a select. I forgot to set that to selected. Yeah, thought so. I just set this to true now. Set active to true. Let's build that bad boy once more. And I'm gonna have to do something similar. When I'm in the inventory. So there's two things I need to do. One, I need to do this in the inventory slot, I believe. And two, if I selected something in the hotbar, it needs to show up selected when I open my inventory slot. Let's load into the game. Let's get in there. All right, so let's go in here. We got the light. We move it over. Selected. If I turn that off, turns it off. I put it back. You can't keep switching it over. Turn it off. It works. Oops. Oh, it's crashed. Okay, so what happened here now? So I had nothing selected, and I, you know what? Can I look at it before I come in here? So I dragged something that wasn't selected. So if this is selected, if current selected, which shouldn't be true at all. So, I mean, this actually is, you know what? That's another thing I need to do here. Is does not equal null, because if both are null, it will be true. So I'm saying if it doesn't equal null, and then it goes to the other one. I mean, that's the issue why he bugged on me right now. I need to take account for that. Yeah, it will be true if both IDs are true, and then it will go in here. So that's a good point. I don't know if I need to do a check for that. I don't think so. But we'll test it out and see if that's the case. No, I mean, it shouldn't matter. because this will never be, even if this is null, this will never be null because I'm doing this check here. So this will never be true, I mean, if any of them are null. Did it build? Usually when it builds, it kind of chugs a little bit. Okay. Oh, there we go. Did it too fast. There we go. Load into the game. Alright, so let's try this again. We can, you know, transition, do all of this stuff. Oh, hey, it did work anyway. You can see it. So let's just do the same thing I did earlier. Turn it off. Transfer it over. There we go. Yep, that was it. Cool. One part fixed. The other part is fixing this part here, where this should be selected. That's my active one, and I can deselect it here, which then also will deselect it here. Right, so these needs to be connected in some way or fashion. The question is, how am I gonna be doing that? Well, I mean, I know the index, so it should be the same index, right? So I can be able to grab the hotbar. I'm wondering, instead of keeping track of slot, I keep track of my current index, and then be able to retrieve that, use that index to retrieve the current slot that is active within my inventory, because it should be the same item index number, and that way it will work both ways. So I don't have to have, I don't need to do this check. Let's see. So if I had to select it, I open my inventory, then I would then check to see if my current slot index is the same. Will make this active. If I were to turn it off, I will. How would I handle the hotbar though? Wondering if I do like an emit. Oh, gosh, why would I need to do an emit update? Let's see the hotbar real quick. So this always has slots in it regardless. So it will always be active. The only thing that determines is the visual of that slot. We have dropped area. One thing I can do is probably just add a signal here and just say like current active slot changed, which this hotbar listens to, and then and emit that signal every time in the from the UI manager. I mean, I can do the same thing what I'm doing currently. So what I would do, do I have any? I'm just checking something real quick. That's in game manager. How does it determine the change in here again? In my inventory slot, right? But it's not a signal, it's just a callback. Okay, so there's an item selected and pre-selected. The reason is because this determines what slot is active already, right? Within there. There's something I can do with this right now. Is there something that I can do with this right now? So this gives me this. I'm wondering if I could do something with the UI at this point. And see. I can call like a UI manager call function here that I can pass in the index and see if there's anything that should be active. And handle it there instead of doing it inside of inventory manager when it comes to setting this slot. I mean, because regardless if something changed it here, I need to call it outside of here and emit that function somehow. So I will need to, let's create it. Let's try doing it and let's see what happens. We can create an event signal or we can do it. Active change. We'll name it there. And what I was thinking is doing some type of since the hotbar and my inventory classes are oops, sorry, apologize. Oops. Our references are in my UI manager class. I was thinking of something like we'll do a get question is like, do I even need to have a connect here, or can I just call the function here? Let's just call a function here and say set active slot active slot changed detected or something, right? And in here, we'll do 2 here. Well, we can do one thing here actually. Say active slot ID, which will set it to -1. So that way we don't have to put this function twice. We'll set that in here. Because regardless if it's no or not, this will be the one determining what it should be, active or not. And then say active slot ID is the current active slot. I think I have a getter function for that slot ID. Slot index, there we go. So with that, I can create this function in here. My UI manager. Active slot change detected. I'll just put it at the bottom here. And we'll pass in slot ID. We'll create this function. We'll try it out with my inventory. I think, oh, don't tell me I have this initialized in my I do have it, or is it under a character menu? It might be under character menu actually. Let's look into that character menu real quick. Is it in? Yeah, it is. because the menu is kind of like double role. It's basically the panel, the character panel, which the left side is the character and the right side is the inventory. So I will need to be able to, it's not going to be here actually, it's going to be question. Hold on. Do I even need to put that in here? It's not like my inventory UI is active. Can I actually, you know, I probably don't even need to do all of that stuff. Hold on. So this is my UI inventory. Can I just look through here and check my active slot index? And if it is index, set it to selected in here. That's a possibility. We can double check. I mean, I already have references to inventory. Okay, so we'll try this. UI inventory slot pointer current active slot, which then I just retrieve it here and get current active slot. As a const. We'll create a slot index down here actually. We'll set it to -1. And then the same thing here. If it's not null, we'll set the slot index equals get slot index. And then say, hey, if this equals inventory or equals I or something. I don't keep track of this, do I? Oh yeah, I keep it counts. So if the same thing as counts, then we want to set this inventory slot to equal to set active to true. All right, so that's what I want to do in here. Let's see if that ends up working. I may not even need it to do all the stuff that I did earlier. I don't know yet if it's gonna bug out. So let's check it out to see if it ends up working. And see if there's any issues. If there is, then I may have to go in this approach. And it's running. So let's run it back, build it, build it. Alrighty. I still kind of have that bug with the dragging in my inventory. So if I were to drag something else, I feel like I still need to do it somehow. Hold on. Alright, so right now it doesn't have anything selected. If I had this selected, it actually didn't even do it. Why didn't it do it? Does it not initialize it again? Let's attach it. Let's find out. Hopefully, I think I'm only calling it once actually. That way. Update visuals. Oh, because it's not visible, of course, it's not gonna update it yet. Well, no, that should be fine. Alright, let's put something here. Let's test this bad boy. Right? Go in there. Yeah, see, I thought so. It will only do it if I do that. And it actually still didn't even select it. So that's fun. Let's go in here, let's figure it out. Slot index, -1. Comes in here, it's 5. So it comes in here. Inventory slot. Not the same. I got 3, 4. Let me, you know what? A 5, there we go. Let me set it to true. So it is setting it to true. The problem, it might setting it too soon. So it doesn't know any of this stuff. That's fun. Yeah, it doesn't know it yet. Fun. I may have. I was thinking of doing, calling it like deferred or something. I don't know how long it takes for this to actually call the ready function. Yeah, I need to delay it for like, I don't know how long. Any delays don't work. Too crazy when it comes to this. One thing I can do though, I mean technically it should be working, just that I just need to delay this a little bit. I can think of something already, I just don't. Of course my UI manager, my UI inventory is not there. Rates. One thing I could do is just be able to. This is a control. You should have process in there, right? I don't like it, but process is double delta time override. And we can keep track of slot index in here. Or two things, slot index, active slot index, which is set it to -1, and then we have a float or double or whatever. Delay active slot index update. I'll set it to do that. Every time I come in here in my UI inventory, I'll set the delay here. Let's set it to 1. I may need to update that a little bit higher. Instead of doing this, I'm just gonna say active slot index. I just feel like I don't like it. I mean, I can probably set the boolean here if I ever do say that this is both null. I can keep track of this bool to see if it's active. Yeah, I think it's probably the better option than me doing all this stuff. I was trying to make it easier, but this is, well, I don't know what I was doing there. Let's just delete all of this stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. delay that in there. We can leave how this one was, right? Leave that there. We come in here. Well, get this inventory slot here and see if it's active. Full is active. I'll set it to false for now. Alright, so where's this active here? I'll set it to active here. And we'll have to call it twice, if anything, anyway. So after it calls the visuals here, if it's active, then we'll set it to active again, because there's a slight delay on it, right? Boom, Super Mario 64 ending music. Let's go. Ah, time flies, guys. I remember playing that game. I want to actually play it again and finish it once more. All right, let's go in here, make a build, and then we come in here. It should theoretically work, or find out. So I have this selected and go in here and have the wrong one selected. Great. That is awesome. Why is that one selected? Why is that wrong? And now it doesn't even do it again. Great. That is fun. I wonder why. Yeah, I guess it requires a little bit more thought process on how this is working a little bit. But I'm cutting out towards the end of the stream already, guys, so I apologize I couldn't get this done. I was hoping I was going to be able to get it done. And honestly, I don't. Oh, I guess if it's active, what is this doing? Okay. I mean, regardless, even then, this hotbar, if it's active, I set it back to false anyway, and this should never ever be set. Regardless or whatever it is, I'm surprised it doesn't actually go here again. Even though active is true. Only time it will be false if it doesn't. No, there's no texture on it, and it's for a hotbar and it's active currently. Then we don't want to do that. I mean, it worked once, but it was the wrong one. Oh, you know what? Because the updates here, I probably should be doing it beforehand. Well, that's one bug for sure. But regardless, I mean, I actually don't know if this should work. Should it? Yeah. It makes sense though. But I never did it again afterwards, so there's something going on there. I fixed half of it though, guys. I fixed half of it. I need food right now. I had no breakfast, nothing. Alright, so we come here and it's still not selected, so regardless, I'll actually like to know. So we come in here, we select that. Let's go in here, let's add in, you know, attach the process. Let's figure out why that did not work. So for one, we'll go there, we'll attach it, and then, oh yes, it only does it when the thing changes. That's right. Which is why I want to do what I wanted to do then in that case. The one with the active slot thing that I was doing. With one where I wanted to where is it at? Alright, so let's just cut down that. The one that I was trying to do with this here. So that means I'm gonna need to go to character menu, be able to create that function in here of what I was doing before. Inventory, active slot, change detected, and I just pass in the new index, right? And create that function. We're going here. We'll say inventory panel. And then we, you know, pass in. So even if it's not active, I want to have that value already selected. So set active slot change detected, which you pass in the slot index, right? Well, going here in my inventory once again, and I had it open earlier, and where it went, no idea. So we'll leave this here. We'll want to pass in void active slot in detected. So even if it's -1, I still want it to work. So I guess I do need this. Int active slot index. We'll set it to -1 for now. We'll set this to slot index, right? I don't need this anymore because I'm already setting it even beforehand. So what I want to do, I don't even need to set this off. So what I need here is just set that. If it's active, we'll set it in here. Do I have a list? I could get the child of them. So we're going here. We'll get the child. We'll get the child of them. And where's this bad boy? Where's that function I just created? There we go. Oh, excuse me. I actually need to iterate through all of them. Because even if I set it to -1, I won't know which one to deselect. Or maybe I can. You can check to see if the current slot index is not -1, but my current is the one I want to update to. And then check to see if this is not -1. Honestly, the easiest is to iterate through all the ones. Not like I have that many. That shouldn't be a problem if I iterated through all of these instead. Block counts. And just say get child counts, and then we iterate through all of them. Slot counts, increments, and then we want to basically just cast this the childs to it. Hopefully it works, the casting right now. So let's say get child at this index, right? And then say inventory slots, and then we set it to active. It's got active if the current slot index equals I. So that's one thing I can do. And then it does it in here as well if I need it to. Otherwise it keeps track of it. If there's no children in it, and we'll update it here when it does. And that should work for the inventory. So let's backtrack a little bit. The inventory gets called from the character menu, which then we call it in here. The character menu should be initialized in the UI manager, right? I think did I call that? All right, here you go. So in here we want to say if character menu, and then we want to say active or something. Inventory slot changed. You set it to slot ID. And then also, so the question here, what happens if I select it in the hotbar? Because let's say am I in my inventory and I have one selected here. How does that work? Yeah, it doesn't do anything with the slot manager, that current active slot from the inventory manager. It doesn't do any of that. But it would be great if I selected it in there. It also works in the hotbar. So one thing I can do in here is to keep track of an index like the way I did it in the other one. If one was selected, I can get the index of that and then call the UI manager here. Oh, let's see, UI manager gets active slot index detected. So the same way I did it in the other one. Active slot equals -1. If I did change it to something else, we then say and current slot selected get slot index, and then we'll set it that there. the same way that is being done in the not the hotbar. The hotbar gets called in the game manager emit function, so I don't need to do it in here. But if I were to do it in here, I just don't want to update the hotbar if I don't need to. Let's see how it looks. It may have a bug with the hotbar being selected twice, I think, possibly. But we'll see. Okay, so we have that there, which then we'll call it there. We need to also then in here go to the hotbar and do the same thing, basically. Inventory slot detected, change detected, and let's go into my hotbar. And we'll call that function there too. I'll create a function for it. We'll name it the same way. Alright, we'll detect that. And it'll be basically the same way that the UI inventory is like. Oh, and also we gotta keep track of the nm active slot index equals -1, right? We go to the hotbar. Let's create that. We'll do that in here. What is it called in here? This one's H container. Right. And all I'm doing is updating the index here. And that's okay. I don't need to do it in here at all. So let's backtrack to game manager. If everything is set correctly is called in there, and it should be good to go. Let's close that. And we'll try to test it one last time. This is probably gonna be the last test, guys, because I need to go already. I really wanted to get this done before the stream ended. So this is the last test. That is what it is. Oops, there's 2 errors. It's not a member of. Did I not? Maybe I called it differently. Yeah, I called it differently. It should be the same function actually. Let's go back to the hotbar. There's gonna be an error on that. Well, it's not really an inventory though. You know what? Let's revert it back. It's not really an inventory. And the other one shouldn't even be called inventory either, because I already know it's an inventory, but I can change that later. Where was I? Here. Well, update the other one. Probably do it off screen. It's naming functions, guys. Now, honestly, actually, now that I think about it, I probably don't even need this. If this ends up working, I don't even need that because I don't use it in the when I'm creating the slots at all. So right now, if I were to open my inventory, it should work. But I'll talk about it when I'm there. I don't know if this updated correctly. So it's one thing to consider. So if I were to open my inventory and select one, that one should work now. You can see that it works in the bottom. Great. But this doesn't create the actual, so I need to look into that and see how to make that work. So if I selected this, I need to be able to do the other thing, but you know, one thing at a time. And then if I were to deselect it again, it works. If I were to go in here, this is selected. Great. So I just need to make it work the other way. But you know, a majority it works now. Sweet. Whew. All right. So I'll probably, finish finalizing that off screen. But that's basically about it today, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I, did fix some bugs. I updated A-Star, so there's just one single A-Star grid at all times, and everybody else is sharing that same A-Star grid. So we did some work today. Sweet. Cool. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream, or this video if you guys are watching this in the future. If you guys have any feedback or anything that you saw in here, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, and if I'm able to answer it, I'll answer for you guys. But yeah, I believe that right now I would like to work on my devlog so I can upload one soon. So there won't be another live stream until after. So just keep that in mind. I will try to do my best to get a devlog, hopefully by next week. Hopefully. It all depends on how busy I get, guys. But yeah. Anyways, guys, enjoy. Have a great day and wonderful night, depending on your time. And I'll talk to you guys later. Signing out.